All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails cooperative federalism at Niti Aayog's Governing Council meeting. Says collective efforts of all states helped India emerge from COVID. Also asks states to reduce imports and step up exports. Home Minister Amit Shah to launch Odisha edition of Modi at 20. Dreams meet delivery in Bhubaneswar today. International Telecommunication Union's Regional Standardization Forum for Asia and Oceania region to begin today in New Delhi. IMD warns of heavy rain in central India and west coast over next 3 days. US Navy ship docks in India for the first time for repairs and maintenance. Islamic State terror module busted in Delhi ahead of Independence Day. One active member arrested. US calls China's military drills near Taiwan irresponsible and an attempt to change status quo. Medal rush continues for India at Commonwealth Games. Nikhat Zareen, Amit Panghal, Neetu Ghangas, Eldhoz Paul, Achanta Sharath and Shrija Akula bagged gold medals. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 88 runs in fifth and final T20 International to win 5-match series 4-1. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Janotsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. Coming to our 103rd question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. Who was the main leader of the Pajhota movement that took place in Sirmaur, Himachal Pradesh in 1942-43. That is, who was the main leader of the Pajhota movement that took place in Sirmaur, Himachal Pradesh in 1942-43. Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 8826546262, that is 8826546262, or through email on Amrit Mahotsav Quiz at prasarbharati.gov.in. Amrit Mahotsav Quiz at prasarbharati.gov.in. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has hailed the collective efforts of all the states in the spirit of cooperative federalism as the force that helped India emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic. Addressing the 7th meeting of Niti Aayog's Governing Council in New Delhi, Mr. Modi said every state played a crucial role according to its strength and contributed to India's fight against COVID. This led to India emerging as an example for the developing nations to look up to as a global leader, he said. The Prime Minister said India's federal structure and cooperative federalism emerged as a model for the world during the COVID crisis. He said that India had sent a powerful message to the developing nations of the world that it is possible to overcome challenges with resilience despite resource limitations. Mr. Modi said that the credit for this goes to the state governments which focused on grassroots delivery of public services to the people through cooperation across political lines. The Prime Minister said that each state should focus on promoting its 3 T's, trade, tourism and technology, through every Indian mission around the world. He said the states must focus on reducing imports, increasing exports and identifying opportunities for the same in every state. Mr. Modi said we should encourage people to use local goods wherever possible. Vocal for local is not the agenda of an individual political party but a common goal, he said. The PM also spoke about India's G20 presidency in 2023 and called it a unique opportunity to show the world that India is not just Delhi, it is every state and union territory of the country. Speaking about this, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said, the G20 presidency presents a great opportunity and a great responsibility. For the first time in the history of G20, India will host the G20 meetings over the year, not only in Delhi but in every state and union territory, he said.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah will today launch the Odisha edition of Modi at 20 Dreams Meet Delivery, a book on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's completion of 20 years in office, from becoming the Chief Minister of Gujarat in 2001. In Cuttack, Mr. Shah will attend a function marking the 75th anniversary of the Odia Daily, Prajatantra, founded by former Chief Minister Hare Krishna Mahatab. Mr. Shah will begin his trip with a visit to the Lingaraj temple in Bhubaneswar this morning on the last Monday of Shravan. Odisha BJP President Samir Mohanty said Mr. Shah will then go to Cuttack to visit Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's birthplace in Odia Bazar and will pay his respect to the freedom fighter on the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Mr. Shah will also hold a meeting of the state BJP's core committee at its headquarters in Bhubaneswar. Mr. Shah arrived in Bhubaneswar yesterday evening to a rousing reception from party leaders and members.
अब हर घर की छत पर शान से फहरेगा तिरंगा, गुनगुनाए जाएंगे नव विकास के गीत, आन बान शान का प्रतीक राष्ट्रध्वज तिरंगा। आइए आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर इस स्वाधीनता दिवस हर घर फहराते हैं तिरंगा और लेते हैं भव्य और सशक्त भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प।
आइए हर घर फहराएं तिरंगा।
The Lok Sabha is scheduled to take up the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022 and the New Delhi International Arbitration Centre Amendment Bill 2022 today. The Electricity Amendment Bill 2022 is scheduled to be introduced in the lower house today. A discussion is also scheduled in the Lok Sabha today on the need to promote sports in India and steps taken by the government in this regard. The Central Universities Amendment Bill 2022 is scheduled to be taken up for discussion in the Rajya Sabha today. Ahead of Independence Day, the National Investigation Agency NIA has busted an Islamic State IS terror module in Delhi. The NIA has arrested Mohsin Ahmed for his active involvement with the IS. The agency conducted searches at his residence at Matla House in Delhi and found him to be involved in online and on-ground activities of the IS. According to the NIA, Ahmed, originally from Patna, was involved in collection of funds for the IS from sympathizers in India as well as abroad. He was sending these funds to Syria and other places in the form of cryptocurrency.
International Telecommunication Union's Regional Standardization Forum for Asia and Oceania region will begin in New Delhi today. Communications Ministry will host the forum on the theme of regulatory and policy aspects of telecommunications. Minister of State for Communications, Devu Singh Chauhan, will inaugurate the Regional Standardization Forum. The ministry said more than 250 delegates from 20 countries will participate in the forum. It said the panel discussion aims to provide an insight to Asia and Oceania region's experience from policy and regulatory perspective under various sub-themes. U.S. Navy ship has docked in India for the first time for repairs and maintenance. U.S. naval ship Charles Drew arrived at L&T's Kattupalli shipyard at Ennore near Chennai yesterday for undertaking repairs and maintenance. This will be the first time that a U.S. Navy ship is being repaired in an Indian shipyard. The USNS Charles Drew will be at Kattupalli shipyard for 11 days and undergo repairs in various areas. The event signifies the capabilities of Indian shipyards in the global ship repairing market. Indian shipyards offer wide-ranging and cost-effective ship repairs and maintenance services using advanced maritime technology platforms.
The U.S. has described China's military drills near Taiwan as irresponsible and an attempt to change the status quo. Citing a White House spokesperson, The Guardian reported the U.S. dubbed Chinese activities a significant effort to escalate tension and an attempt to change the status quo. China continues its military exercise near Taiwan in the backdrop of the U.S. Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to the island country. The White House spokesperson said China's military drills are provocative, irresponsible, and raise the risk of miscalculation. Drills are also at odds with our long-standing goal of maintaining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, which is what the world expects, the spokesperson said. U.S. National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications John Kirby has also warned of the risk of miscalculation of the drills and added it could trigger a larger conflict. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails cooperative federalism at Niti Aayog's Governing Council meeting. Says collective efforts of all states helped India emerge from COVID. Also asks states to reduce imports and step up exports. Home Minister Amit Shah to launch Odisha edition of Modi at 20 Dreams Meet Delivery in Bhubaneswar today. International Telecommunication Union's Regional Standardization Forum for Asia and Oceania region to begin today in New Delhi. IMD warns of heavy rain in central India and the west coast over next 3 days. U.S. Navy ship docks in India for the first time for repairs and maintenance. Islamic State terror module busted in Delhi ahead of Independence Day. 1 active member arrested. U.S. calls China's military drills near Taiwan irresponsible and an attempt to change status quo. Medal rush continues for India at Commonwealth Games. Nikhat Zareen, Amit Panghal, Neetu Ghanghas, Eldhos Paul, Achant Sharath and Shrija Akula bag gold medals. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 88 runs in 5th and final T20 International to win a 5-match series 4-1. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अगर आप कर रहे हैं कॉम्पिटिशन्स की तैयारी तो फिर आपके लिए है ऑल इंडिया रेडियो का कार्यक्रम अभ्यास। आपके भेजे प्रश्न हम व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर रिसीव करते हैं और उसके उत्तर हमारे एक्सपर्ट सैटरडे रात 9:30 बजे देते हैं। इस बार का विषय है साइकोलॉजी और आपके सवाल का हम करेंगे इंतजार 10 अगस्त तक। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
India Meteorological Department IMD has warned of heavy rain and flash floods in central India and west coast over the next 3 days. IMD Director General M. Mohapatra said a low pressure area over northwest Bay of Bengal is likely to intensify into a depression and move west-northwestwards across Odisha and Chhattisgarh. He said heavy rainfall of more than 200 millimeters is likely in the next 3 days over parts of central India and the west coast, which could lead to flash floods at several locations. Talking to AIR News, IMD DG M. Mohapatra said,
लो प्रेशर एरिया ओडिशा तट के पास उत्तर पश्चिम और इसके आसपास बे ऑफ बंगाल के ऊपर केंद्रीभूत है। डिप्रेशन बनने की भी संभावना है। ये पश्चिम उत्तर पश्चिम दिशा में गति करेगा। ओडिशा, छत्तीसगढ़, मध्य प्रदेश, गुजरात और राजस्थान की तरफ ले जाने का संभावना है और इसके प्रभाव में कल से ओडिशा और सेंट्रल इंडिया में रेनफॉल बढ़ा है। हमारी उम्मीद है कि इसके प्रभाव में सेंट्रल इंडिया में अच्छा बारिश होगी, महाराष्ट्र, गुजरात तक और राजस्थान में कुछ हिस्सा में, और कहीं कहीं हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल हो सकता है और एक्सट्रीमली हेवी रेनफॉल यानी 20 सेंटीमीटर से ज्यादा रेनफॉल भी 24 आवर्स में रिकॉर्ड किया जा सकता है। पहले रेनफॉल जैसे आज ओडिशा और छत्तीसगढ़ में ज्यादा जारी रहेगा और धीरे धीरे मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, गुजरात में रेनफॉल बढ़ेगा और इसके प्रभाव में अरेबियन सी में विंड स्ट्रांग है, इसलिए कोंकण कोस्ट में भी हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल होने का उम्मीद है।
To celebrate the historic Har Ghar Tiranga campaign under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, All India Radio is today organizing a special program, Vande Mataram at 75, comprising a medley of melody and rhythm of our braveheart ITBP Himveers. The program will be held at 4 p.m. at Rang Bhavan Auditorium of Akashvani, New Delhi. It will also be broadcast live on FM Rainbow 102.6 MHz and live streamed on YouTube channel of Akashvani, AIR and Facebook. Last month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had launched Har Ghar Tiranga campaign to encourage people to bring the Tiranga home and hoist it to mark the 75th year of India's independence.
ये सिखाएंगे, अमृत काल मनाएंगे, घर घर तिरंगा लहराएंगे, घर घर तिरंगा, हर घर तिरंगा.
And now, let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव. Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
On 8th August 1942, the Quit India movement was launched at the Bombay session of the All India Congress Committee by Mahatma Gandhi, demanding an end to British rule in India.
After the failure of the Cripps mission to secure Indian support for the British war effort, the Congress Working Committee meeting held at Wardha on the 14th of July 1942 passed a resolution demanding complete independence from the British government. The draft proposed massive civil disobedience if the British did not accede to the demands.
On the 8th of August 1942, Mahatma Gandhi made a call to do or die in his Quit India speech delivered in Bombay at the Gwalior Tank Maidan. The All India Congress Committee launched a mass protest demanding what Gandhiji called an orderly British withdrawal from India. Soon, almost the entire leadership of the Indian National Congress was imprisoned without trial within hours of Gandhiji's speech.
Despite the arrest of the top nationalist leadership, large protests and demonstrations were held all over the country. Workers remained absent and strikes were called. In Tamluk and Kontai subdivisions of Midnapur, the people were successful in establishing parallel governments which continued to function until Gandhiji personally requested the leaders to disband in 1944. In Balia, Uttar Pradesh, people overthrew the district administration, released the arrested Congress leaders and established their own independent rule. In rural Bengal, the Quit India movement was fueled by peasants' resentment against the new taxes and the forced rice exports.
The British government came down heavily upon the people. It arrested over 10,000 people. The movement was successful in making the British realize that India was ungovernable in the long run, and the question for the post-war era became how to exit gracefully and peacefully, leading to India's independence on the 15th of August, 1947.
We remember Gandhian freedom fighter Titus Thevaratundayal, who died on the 8th of August 1980. A trusted friend of Gandhiji, he was one of the 78 marchers selected by Mahatma Gandhi to take part in the 1930 Dandi March.
Titus was born on the 18th of February 1905 in Maraman, Kerala, to Marthoma Syrian Christian family. He served as the governing secretary for Gandhiji's Sabarmati Ashram Milk Project near Ahmedabad. Gandhiji gave him the honorific of Titus Ji. On the 15th of March 1925, Mahatma Gandhi visited Titus Ji's house in Maraman on his way to Aranamuya. This was considered one of the greatest events in central Travancore. In and around Maraman, thousands witnessed his visit.
After independence, Titus settled in Bhopal. In 1970, he published the book The Bharat of My Dreams. He was also represented in the early designs of the 500 rupee note. Titus Thevaratundayal died on the 8th of August 1980 at the Kasturba Hospital in Bhopal. AIR News
salutes the great Gandhian freedom fighter.
We also remember the martyr Krishna Kumar, a resident of district Mainpuri, Uttar Pradesh. The 14-year-old took part in the Quit India movement as a school student and received severe bullet wounds in the police firing at a protest rally he joined at Bevar on the 8th of August 1942. Krishna Kumar died on the spot along with two other protesters. The Amar Shahid School at Mainpuri was later established to commemorate their martyrdom. AIR News salutes the brave sons of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
India will complete 75 years of its independence on the 15th of this month. This year, Independence Day will take place amidst the ongoing Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. In the run-up to the Independence Day celebrations, All India Radio News is running a special series, India at 75. Today the theme is India's journey towards sustainable development goals. The Government of India has been implementing several central sector and centrally sponsored schemes, including the flagship programs for sustainable development of the country. The Sustainable Development Goals SDGs are 17 agenda points set by the United Nations in 2015 for achieving by 2030, and they range from poverty alleviation and promoting health to climate action and social justice. The Union Government has set a target of elimination of malaria from the country by 2030 and making the country TB-free by 2025, 5 years ahead of 2030. India has also been witnessing a progressive reduction in maternal mortality ratio MMR from 130 in 2014-2016, 122 in 2015-17, 113 in 2016-18 to 103 in 2017-19. With this persistent decline, India is on track to achieve the SDG target of 70 per lakh live births by 2030. Speaking at the World Sustainable Development Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had recalled that environment and sustainable development have been key focus areas for him all through his 20 years in office, first in Gujarat and now at the national level. He pointed out that very little has been done despite a lot of talk over the last 50 years since the 1972 Stockholm Conference. Mr. Modi said, "But in India, we have walked the talk."
A lot has been said over the last 50 years since the 1972 Stockholm Conference. Very little has been done. But in India, we have walked the talk. Equitable energy access to the poor has been a cornerstone of our environmental policy.
The medal rush continues for India at the Commonwealth Games. Boxers Nikhat Zareen, Amit Panghal and Neetu Gangas grabbed gold medals yesterday, while Eldho's Paul bagged the yellow medal in triple jump.
पहली बार मेंस ट्रिपल जंप में एक गोल्ड मेडल लगाई थी एल्डोस पॉल ने. भारत पहले पायदान पर भी और दूसरे पायदान पर भी.
मुक्केबाजी में शानदार प्रदर्शन करते हुए निखत जरीन ने 50 किलोग्राम, नीतू ने 48 किलोग्राम.
कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स गोल्ड.
Sagar Ehlawat got silver in the men's 92 kilogram super heavyweight boxing category. He lost by unanimous decision to Delicious Ori of England in the final. In table tennis, Indian mixed doubles duo of Achanta Sharath Kamal and Shrija Akula bagged the gold medal in the mixed doubles final.
Another Commonwealth Games gold medal for him, but a first medal for him of any colour in the mixed doubles at the Commonwealth Games, and it's gold.
Indian women's hockey team beat defending champions New Zealand 2-1 in shootout to win the bronze medal and finish its campaign at the Commonwealth Games on a high note. In badminton, Indian women's doubles duo of Trisa Jolly and Gayatri Gopichand clinched the bronze medal in the women's doubles. The duo registered a 2-0 win over Australia's Wendy Susian Yu Chen and Gronya Somerville. Earlier, Indian shuttler Kidambi Shrikant won 21-15, 21-18 against Jia Hente in the men's singles bronze medal. India's Deepika Pallikal Karthik and Saurabh Ghoshal clinched bronze in the mixed doubles squash event. Deepika Pallikal Karthik and Saurabh Ghoshal defeated Australian duo Donna Lobban and Cameron Pillai. For India, Renuka Singh and Sneh Rana scalped 2 wickets in cricket, while Deepti Sharma and Radha Yadav took 1 wicket each.
In cricket, India defeated the West Indies by 88 runs in the 5th and final T20 International to win the 5-match series 4-1 at Lauderhill in Florida, United States last night. Chasing a total of 189 runs, West Indies were skittled out for a paltry 100 runs in 15.4 overs.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius, maximum expected 33 degrees. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The minimum temperature was 24, maximum expected 30. Chennai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 33 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum 26, maximum 33. Hyderabad will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum 21, maximum 28. Bengaluru will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum 20, maximum 27. And Visakhapatnam will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum 24, maximum 31. Jammu and Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. PM Lord states for cooperative federalism and fighting COVID-19 is the top headline in The Hindu. The Pioneer quotes ISRO as saying that the satellites placed by the SSLV in its maiden mission are unusable after they were placed in an elliptical orbit instead of a circular one. The revised graded plan to fight Delhi's air pollution will come into effect from the 1st of October, reports the Asian Age. The plan will be preemptive and invoked 3 days in advance, writes the paper. 6 years after India and the US signed an MOA for the first time ever, a US warship has docked at a Chennai shipyard for maintenance and repairs, reports the Tribune. And finally, there is good news for those applying for a driving license in Delhi. Getting one would be easier from today, writes the Hindustan Times.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Who was the main leader of the Pajhota movement that took place in Sirmaur, Himachal Pradesh in 1942-43? WhatsApp your response on 8826546262. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails cooperative federalism at Niti Ayog's Governing Council meeting. Says collective efforts of all states helped India emerge from COVID. Also asks states to reduce imports and step up exports. Home Minister Amit Shah to launch Odisha edition of Modi at 20 brings meat delivery in Bhubaneswar today. International Telecommunication Union's Regional Standardization Forum for Asia and Oceania region to begin today in New Delhi. IMD warns of heavy rain in central India and west coast over the next 3 days. US Navy ship docks in India for the first time for repairs and maintenance. Islamic State terror module busted in Delhi ahead of Independence Day. 1 active member arrested. US calls China's military drills near Taiwan irresponsible and an attempt to change status quo. Medal rush continues for India at Commonwealth Games. Nikhat Zareen, Amit Panghal, Neetu Ghangas, Eldhoz Paul, Achanta Sharat and Shrija Akula bagged gold medals. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 88 runs to finish in 5th and final T20 International to win 5-match series 4-1. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.